When it comes to chief of staff, the name Susie Wiles, if folks haven't become familiar with Susie, she was sort of the behind-the-scenes operator, co-campaign manager for Donald Trump the last 2 years. We've been used to palace intrigue stories when it comes to Donald Trump's campaigns and the White House. She was somebody here who very much allowed anybody that wanted access to Donald Trump to have that access. Some of the, more of the right-wing provocateurs, you could call them, but as well as sort of the mainstream conservatives, everybody who I have talked to over the last 2 years has been very happy with the role she played in not trying to keep anybody away from Donald Trump, but allowing it to be sort of a big tent, not only at Mar-a-Lago, but on the campaign trail.
This is pretty big news. Donald Trump has in fact named Susie Wiles as his chief of staff. Now, of course, Donald Trump is president-elect. He won the 2024 presidential election. And this is big news, not only because we're learning details about what Trump intends to do once he's in office, but because she would be the first woman to ever hold the title of White House Chief of Staff. Now, Susie Wiles worked as a Republican consultant for Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and played a key role along with Chris LaCivita in helping Trump win the 2024 presidential election. Look, she is smart and she's savvy and she's strategic. She, along with Chris LaCivita, managed to rein in some of the more deranged characteristics of Donald Trump on the campaign trail. Not always, certainly, but she has been credited for professionalizing his 2024 presidential run, certainly in comparison to previous presidential runs. And so I've got a few more details about her in just a moment, but I gotta ask you, Cenk, do you think that Trump named a woman, thus making history as having the first female White House chief of staff, as like a middle finger to Democrats and what they were claiming about? I'm wondering if that's why he did it. I mean, I think she's actually qualified for the job. She has delivered for him, so that definitely informed his decision.
That might have been a small part of it, Anna. But no, I think the main reason is because she got him a win in the election and she earned it. And she is, by all accounts, enormously competent. And you don't see me saying that about anyone involved in politics much at all. And I'm not just saying that now that Trump won. This just happened right before we got on air. I wish we pulled the tape for you guys. We had a conversation about her about 4 to 6 months ago where we said, wow, Susie Wiles is doing a great job for Trump's campaign.
Yes.
You remember that?
Of course I do, yeah.
And so now why do we say that? Because we like Susie Wiles and we like Donald Trump and we want them to win? No, we're giving you honest analysis. We said, watch out, she's running a great campaign. I'm worried about it, right? So she seems to be incredibly competent. The problem is that she's competent in a direction we're not happy with. So if she's as good at this job as she was as campaign manager for Donald Trump, watch out. So they will be able to get a lot of things done, and we're not in favor of any of those things. So, but it does make Mark Cuban's comment seem even more absurd.
That's what I was referring to when I said, is this like a middle finger to Mark Cuban and the Democrats?
But even if it isn't a middle finger, Mark Cuban deserves one.
I agree.
Because at the time he made the comment, Susie Wiles was in the middle of running a great campaign for Donald Trump. And you've seen me tear into Trump time and time again, including in the last 2 stories we did. But did he pick a competent woman to run his campaign? Did he say, of all the people in the world, I'm going to pick a woman and not a man? He did. He did. Facts are stubborn things.
So a few more details about Susie Wiles. So in the 2023 federal indictment of Donald Trump for mishandling the classified documents, a person was mentioned but not named. And that person was, labeled PAC representative. And it turns out that PAC representative was Susie Wiles. She was overseeing the pro-Trump PAC at the time. And basically, according to ABC News, sources have said that the person is Susie Wiles. After the indictment, ProPublica documented an increase in payments to Wiles and the hiring of her daughter as part of a pattern of other Trump staffers who have been subpoenaed as part of the investigation into Trump receiving significant financial benefits. She denied knowing that it was best practice for witnesses in an investigation concerning their boss or client to not appear like they're receiving special treatment, and denied ever talking to Trump about her testimony in that investigation regarding the classified documents case. Look, I agree with you. I think that Trump chose her specifically because of the fact that she helped him run a better campaign this time around. She also helped Ron DeSantis run for governor in 2018, and obviously he won. They later had a falling out because of the fact that Trump had a bit of a tiff with Ron DeSantis, so she was let go by Ron DeSantis.
Oops.
So there's all this politics involved in that, but at the end of the day, she delivered for Trump, and I think that is what informed his decision to choose her as a White House chief of staff. The question is, though, will she be able to rein in his more destructive characteristics in the White House the way that she was able to while he was on the campaign trail?
Yeah, so that's such a critical question, because part of that answer is definitively no. The question is if the other half is a yes or no. So will she be able to get him to stop saying crazy things? No chance. That's not possible. There's no force on earth can contain Donald Trump from saying unhinged things, okay? So but that's not that important. What's important, like that horse is already out of the barn, and you're never gonna put it back in. Like, he's spreading fear and hatred, etc. Yeah, he's gonna keep on spreading it. There's nothing you can do about it. He won, okay? So the question is, will she be able to rein him in if he suggests doing something maniacal in office? So I'll give you an example. In his first term, he suggested to his staff that we 10x our nuclear arsenal, okay? He said, go do it. That would bankrupt the country. It's not even close. That's the most expensive thing you could possibly imagine. His staff ignored him, and because it was a ridiculous request, and that's the famous meeting that his Secretary of State at the time, Rex Tillerson, comes out of and goes, this guy's an effing moron.
I have a procedural question about that, though. So if the president says, I want to 10x our nuclear arsenal, okay?
Yeah.
Is he able to unilaterally do that without Congress? Because you would need funding to do that.
No, you would have to set up a plan. Hey, we got to go to Congress. How are we going to go to Congress? What can we do with executive orders? What do we need legislation for? I mean, that's a whole giant process normally, right? But they didn't even do first step one of it, and Trump didn't even notice because he's not that bright, right? So, and I can give you a dozen more examples like that. So in the case like that, does Susie Wiles go, yes, sir, we will now increase the nuclear arsenal tenfold because you're anti-war, and then go proceed to bankrupt the country and be really good and competent in doing that? Or will she find a way to make sure that we don't do something nuts, right? If she finds a way of assuaging Trump but preventing things that are nuts, then great. Then I'm happy that we have you're not gonna get a good person that you love and is not corrupt as Trump's chief of staff. That's not in the equation. So what's in the equation is lunatic or non-lunatic, competent or not competent, right?
Yeah.
So overall, given that she seems to live in this reality-based world to the best of our ability to discern it from the outside, not a bad pick. He could have picked like, Corey Lewandowski, Donald Trump Jr. He could have picked Bozo 1 or Bozo 2, right?
In fact, Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita convinced Trump to get rid of Corey Lewandowski during the 2024 presidential campaign, which is a good sign. Again, reiterating, it's not that we agree with them policy-wise, but there's the Corey Lewandowskis, and then there's the Susie Wiles, who's been a consultant for Republicans since the late 1970s. You get what I mean? What I mean, they're two different types of Republicans.
Yeah, last two things here, downside and upside of this story too. So one of the downsides you should know is these guys, and Susie Wiles is part of it for sure, as Anna partly explained there, and Kellyanne Conway is a part of it. There's this whole industrial complex we're going to explain in a minute to you, lobbying industrial complex that is already pigs at the trough, ready to dive in and just take everything from the federal government for all of Trump's donors, right? Susie Wiles will be very competent in executing that and make sure that they rob us as cleanly and efficiently as they possibly can. So don't get excited like, oh yay, Susie Wiles. No. She will make sure that they take every nickel that the US taxpayers have. So that's the downside, okay? But one other upside is of Trump, and yes, I just said that. He has 200 downsides, but one of the upsides is he likes things that are demonstrably good for him, okay? So Susie Wiles, you won me the election? Okay, I promote you to chief of staff, okay? So if things make him unpopular, it's possible that he'll go, nah, I don't like that, I fire you, right? Oh, you made me more popular, I like that, I keep you, right? So that's your only hope here. And if that's your hope, having someone who is not deranged as chief of staff is not such a bad thing. So that's your mixed record on Susie Wiles.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a young Turk.